The Battle of Caloocan, which took place on February 10, 1899, was a pivotal engagement during the Philippine American War, marking a significant moment in the early stages of the conflict between Filipino revolutionary forces and American troops. This battle occurred shortly after the eruption of hostilities between the United States and the nascent First Philippine Republic, following the conclusion of the Spanish-American War. The Philippine American War began on February 4, 1899, when a skirmish broke out between American and Filipino forces near Manila. The conflict rapidly escalated into a full-scale war, driven by the conflicting goals of the Filipino revolutionaries, who sought independence from foreign domination, and the United States, which aimed to establish control over the Philippine archipelago following its acquisition from Spain. The Battle of Caloocan was an early and decisive clash in this broader struggle. Caloocan, located just north of Manila, was a strategically important town and served as a crucial junction for railways and roads leading to various parts of Luzon, the largest island in the Philippines. The town's capture was deemed essential for both logistical and symbolic reasons. For the American forces, seizing Caloocan would disrupt Filipino supply lines and assert their dominance in the region. For the Filipinos, defending Caloocan was crucial to maintaining their resistance against the American occupation. In the days leading up to the battle, both sides prepared for a significant confrontation. The American forces, under the command of Major General Arthur MacArthur, Jr., planned a coordinated assault to dislodge the Filipino defenders. MacArthur, a seasoned military leader and father of the future World War II, General Douglas MacArthur, aimed to use superior firepower and disciplined infantry tactics to overwhelm the Filipino positions. The Filipino forces, led by General Antonio Luna, were determined to resist the American advance. Luna, a fiery and charismatic leader, had organized a disciplined army and implemented strategic defensive positions around Caloocan. His goal was to hold the town at all costs, using a combination of conventional and guerrilla warfare tactics to counter the American offensive. The battle commenced on the morning of February 10, 1899. American artillery opened fire on the Filipino positions, initiating a fierce bombardment intended to weaken the defenses. The bombardment was followed by an infantry assault, with American troops advancing in disciplined formations. The initial American advance faced stiff resistance from the Filipino defenders, who had fortified their positions and were determined to repel the invaders. Despite the valiant efforts of the Filipino forces, the superior firepower and organization of the American troops began to take their toll. The American infantry, supported by artillery and naval gunfire, slowly but steadily pushed forward. The Filipino defenders, though outgunned and outnumbered, fought tenaciously, using their intimate knowledge of the terrain to mount effective resistance. As the battle raged on, the American forces encountered a series of well-prepared defensive positions, including trenches and barricades. These fortifications, combined with the determination of the Filipino soldiers, slowed the American advance. However, the relentless pressure from the American troops eventually forced the Filipinos to fall back. General Antonio Luna, recognizing the dire situation, attempted to rally his forces and launch counterattacks to regain lost ground. His leadership and tactical acumen were instrumental in prolonging the defense of Caloocan, but the disparity in resources and firepower between the two sides made the outcome increasingly inevitable. Luna's efforts to coordinate a cohesive defense were hampered by logistical challenges and the overwhelming strength of the American forces. By late afternoon, the American troops had breached the final lines of defense, and the town of Caloocan fell into their hands. The Filipino forces, recognizing the futility of further resistance, began to withdraw in an organized retreat to avoid encirclement and capture. The fall of Caloocan marked a significant victory for the American forces, consolidating their control over a key strategic location and demonstrating their military superiority. The aftermath of the Battle of Caloocan had far-reaching implications for both sides. For the American forces, the victory solidified their foothold in the Philippines and bolstered their confidence in the campaign. The successful capture of Caloocan demonstrated the effectiveness of their military strategy and underscored the challenges the Filipino forces faced in resisting the American advance. For the Filipinos, the loss of Caloocan was a severe blow to their morale and strategic position. The defeat highlighted the asymmetry in military capabilities between the two sides and underscored the difficulties the Filipino revolutionaries faced in their struggle for independence. Despite the setback, the Filipino resistance continued, with General Antonio Luna and other leaders reorganizing their forces and adopting guerrilla tactics to prolong the fight. The Battle of Caloocan also had significant political and social repercussions. It intensified the resolve of the American government to pursue the annexation of the Philippines, driven by a combination of strategic interests and the belief in the civilizing mission of American imperialism. The conflict also sparked debates within the United States about the morality and implications of colonial expansion, with prominent figures such as Mark Twain and Andrew Carnegie voicing opposition to the war. In the Philippines, the battle became a symbol of the broader struggle for independence and resistance against foreign domination. The heroism and sacrifice of the Filipino defenders were celebrated, and the memory of the battle inspired continued resistance against American rule. The war would drag on for several more years, characterized by brutal fighting, atrocities, and a protracted insurgency that tested the resolve of both the American occupiers and the Filipino revolutionaries. In conclusion, the Battle of Caloocan was a significant and consequential engagement in the early stages of the Philippine American War. It exemplified the broader themes of colonial conflict, resistance, and the struggle for independence that defined this period of history. The battle's outcome highlighted the disparity in military capabilities between the American and Filipino forces, while also underscoring the determination and resilience of the Filipino revolutionaries. As a pivotal moment in the war, the Battle of Caloocan left an indelible mark on the history of both the Philippines and the United States, shaping the trajectory of their relationship and the broader narrative of colonialism and resistance in the early 20th century.